Alright, this is video journal number 2. It is Tuesday the 2nd of June 2026, and last night I have watched the Backrooms. So I guess I'm turning this journal into just movie reviewing videos, but that's fine by me. So the Backrooms is a brand new film that just came out from a first-time director, Kane Parson, that's the same age as me. He's 20 years old, and he's out here directing multi-million-dollar films, and I'm out here sitting in a university accommodation recording myself reviewing his films. Well, look at us. But okay, what did I think of the film? I thought it was really good. I'm a really big fan of psychological horror, and this film is psychological horror. How would you even describe this? Psychological horror that is just portrayed so well. It's hard. I would say it's quite hard to portray psychological horror in films. I feel like psychological horror aims to be quite interactive and to make you think. And whenever I think of psychological horror, I always think of Silent Hill, where you have to interact with it to fully understand with it, and it's so hard to portray that in film. And here he has done that quite perfectly. The uses of the liminal spaces, with the Backrooms being liminal spaces, it's so cool, and the concept itself is just so amazing. Infinite rooms that just keep getting created and created depending on who interacts with the Backrooms, who enters the Backrooms. I think it's really cool. I think I never was that into the Backrooms. It kind of got popular during COVID time, I'm pretty sure. But internet mystery with Jeff the Killer, with Slenderman, it's so cool. It's seeing how it goes from just something small internet, mystery internet creepypasta, to a full-blown movie now. But alright, I'm kind of reading my Letterboxd review and trying to expand on it. Oh yeah, it was I love this, because I feel like a lot of times movies nowadays are movies that you can half-ass, not pay attention to, be on your phone, scroll on TikTok, whereas this film, you cannot do that. You have to be constantly paying attention. The film is not scared of having long form dialogues or long forms of silence that gets built up to build up a tense situation, or to give backstory to a character with long monologue dialogue. And I'm so glad that nowadays we're going, cinema's healing. It feels so good that you get rewarded for watching the film. You go in there, you aren't meant to be on your phone, so you get your full attention. And I'm glad films aren't starting to do that again. I feel like I'm just kind of repeating myself, but yeah, one take. This has to be raw, unfiltered thoughts. But the suspense was very strong. I would say at times it was towards the end of the film, I'm yeah, this suspense is, because the suspense keeps building throughout the entire film, and towards the end I'm it's not gonna really be something big, but that's kind of the point, I would say, because he could have, with the Backrooms, normally it's very wired technological creatures, just creatures made of wires, very Siren Head-esque, if you know what Siren Head is like. And instead of that, Kane decided to change it up and do more humanoid monsters based on actual people. and like people that get remembered and remembered and remembered, and how they that remembrance gets misremembered, and the people change, and how like the main baddie, which would be the pirate version of, what was his name, the pirate of Clark, turns into like this version of himself that has all like the hatred towards his wife, has all the hatred towards life, you know. And with like the I feel like the weakest but strong, it's kind of crazy, but I think the weakest and the strongest scene at the same time is the dinner scene at the end, where you get kind of like the resolution and kind of like the explanation of the backrooms, and like you get like the biggest like character shift with it's kind of like a therapy session reflected from the start of the film, but unlike the first one, Clark's more in control, but he loses that control to Mary, and he actually starts to understand himself better, and I'm pretty sure that's why the pirate attacks him, because he let go of that hatred. He turns good. So it's that, but at the same time, it felt quite long, and you know, there's both positives and negatives, but the chase scene was very great as well after it that led to the finale. Definitely something that I would have wanted to see more is the scientists. I definitely think there will be a sequel, and the film was made in a year's time, a year ago. I'm pretty sure it got announced and it got filmed over last year's summer, so, and it's out, so I definitely think that a sequel will probably be out within the next 2 years, and it's like one of the biggest films for A24 ever, so I definitely think they would want a sequel, and I definitely hope that the sequel targets more of the scientists. AMRC, I think they're called, the MRI guys. I think I would want to like see it, and I'm pretty sure they are like the ones that are responsible for creating the Backrooms, so I would like to see maybe like a introduction to it, how it all happened, and how they're like doing the scientific research to it. I think it would be actually quite cool as well. But yeah, you know, this film, it gives me hope for cinema. Films are getting good. First Obsession nowadays, it's quite good. The summer's going to be banging all films as well. Odyssey, Spider-Man, a Disclosure Day, which I'm quite excited for. But hopefully more good horror will come out as well. But yeah, I guess now I can move on to another topic, which I kind of wanted to make a separate video journal, but I never got around to it. So I guess I'll involve a small segment to it, which is Kung Fu Panda. Over the last week, I've watched all four of the Kung Fu Panda films. I've seen the first three probably a few times when I was a kid, but I haven't seen them quite recently. So I took the time with my girlfriend to rewatch all of them, and yeah, it's a really good franchise. It really is. Like the trilogy is honestly probably one of the best like animated trilogies out there. With the fourth being a very unnecessary sequel that's kind of there just for cash grab. A very like modern, you know, quite opposite of the Backrooms. You have the Backrooms on one end, and you have Kung Fu Panda 4 on the other end, where it's like this one's actually used to make you think, and this one's just there to entertain you and just to get as much money as possible. Fuck creatives, we just want your money, and it felt quite bad. I think the strongest part of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, though, is definitely the villains. I think the villains through and through are the strongest. Even the chameleon in the fourth one, I think the concept of the chameleon is amazing. And it's just could have been done a bit better. But hey ho. I feel like I'm the only person to compare Backrooms with Kung Fu Panda 4, but yeah. In terms of my rankings, I think this is getting a bit long, and I think no one would watch this, not even me rewatching it, because I think it's way less structured. I probably should write a few bullet points before doing these, so I can actually have unfiltered thoughts, but actually think about them before I say them. But in terms of it, I definitely think Kung Fu Panda 1's the best one, followed by Kung Fu Panda 3. Hot take, because apparently everyone prefers the second one over the third one. And the third place spot would take Kung Fu Panda 2, and the last being Kung Fu Panda 4. But yeah, it was a very good franchise. And hey, maybe I'll do more franchise reviews going through the not James Bond, already finished the James Bond films. Could actually make a video about them, I suppose, if I want to just talk about something. But I'm going through all the Mission Impossible films, so I might do a full franchise review of the Mission Impossible, but I guess I'll see. But yeah, if anyone else is watching this, go see the Backrooms. It was great. Really good film. Probably should have put a spoiler warning, but I'm kind of doing this for myself anyway, so yeah. Alright, I'll try to not embarrass myself with the outro this time.